firewood, and why the Polish people are lining up for days to receive some of the coal ahead of this winter. It's about to be 2023. What is the world coming to? My next guest talks about these things often, and to her credit, brought a lot of them to our attention in the forefront of this show. Please welcome to the show Rebecca Walser, president of Walser Wealth Management. Thank you very much for being on. Rebecca, I feel like Rip Van Winkle, and I woke up to a place I don't recognize, and it's really it's stark and shocking.
It is just unfathomable that the United Nations would allow a professor from University of Hawaii to state that hunger is motivating to people. Wait till you have moms and dads that can't feed their kids. They talk about it as if it's a labor force participation issue. That, well, if you're hungry, you'll get off your duff and you'll not be a lazy fat cat and you'll go out and you'll work. We are talking about the inability to continuously provide enough food to sustain populations. Scott, when you're talking about what allowed our population to expand to almost 8 billion people were these petrofertilizers, yes. these massive volume things that we were able to achieve for the first time ever in the history of human time because of fertilizers. And now the very thing that allowed our population to explode this large, they're attacking the nitrogen. They're saying no more. So they're basically saying you can't use this anymore. And if you can't use it, Scott, that means that the billions of people that are supported by the food supply will no longer be supported by the food supply. And thus you have the UN coming out and saying hunger is a motivating factor.
Well, it can motivate you only until you actually get something to eat, and there might be a chance that you don't get something to eat, number one. But I go back to a couple of things, maybe three things here, Rebecca. We've talked about real estate and the impending or in the middle of a recession when it comes to that. Nobody wants to buy a home, and now the rents are through the roof. But could you have ever imagined a scenario in America, now even Macron sending the end of the era of abundance? I mean, I can't believe what I'm hearing. But in 2023, the year we're going into, we're worried about food, fuel, and shelter. What is happening?
Well, it's happening by design, right? Because you can look at the ESG requirements that go along with the World Economic Forum, that go along with the UN, and it is all about attacking the way we grow our food, which is let's contain methane gas that the cows produce. So they're going after the feed, the livestock they're going after, but then they're also going after all of the fertilizer to be able to use on the actual, farming, and that will produce and that will make yields go down immensely. We'll be going back to the agrarian days of the, before the 1800s. I mean, you can't support 8 billion people without industrial fertilizers, because that's what allowed us to feed those people from the very beginning. So they're basically saying that the things that they use to grow the population this size actually hurt the earth. And so we need to unwind that. And this is their way of, and I've said it here on the show to you, Scott, before. I've said, and I hate to say this, but what I'm trying to tell you is their end mission is to depopulate this earth because they believe the population at this size is too large. And so if you kill off the food supply, we've talked before about, the revolutions that have been mass genocide through starvation. And that is unfortunately, potentially what we're talking about. And Scott, it's all self-induced. It's all self-induced. We used to have them in 1989. They said, if we don't get this solved, the planet will disappear by the turn of the millennia. By 2000, we were supposed to be dead. By 85, we were supposed to be dead. By 2015, the climate was supposed to have taken over everything. And I'm not saying that climate change isn't real. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not arguing the scientific nature of that. I'm just saying that they have been on a self-induced mission to change the way we grow our food, to change what we eat as far as protein. This is why you're seeing all of the bugs, and they are already into the schools now bringing cricket snacks in the United States of America. I'm not kidding you. This is happening. This is a globally concerted effort through the World Economic Forum. They've been extremely successful at getting at leaders and countries at cabinet levels and all across this world to buy into this Green New Deal, ESG revamp of how we produce food in this world. And that is why they're propagandizing us with the bugs and the cricket powder. I've seen all kinds of mealworm powder. This is all coming. And we as citizens of the world, and certainly citizens of the United States, we can reject it. We can say, no, World Economic Forum, we don't agree with your scientific models that has this planet on fire by 2030, and therefore we're going to stop this. But it is up to the individual people, because there's no counter group to the World Economic Forum, Scott. There's no group out there saying we don't agree and here's all our alternatives that we're going to follow. No, this group has invaded politicians across this world, including the United States of America, and this is what we're doing unless and until somebody stops it.
It's like look, clean air and clean water they're like the Trojan horse to that noble idea, right? Yeah. Everybody wants clean air and clean water, but then the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and all these folks that think the world may be overpopulated, they become this Trojan horse and they infect us with all the folks that want to do good for the earth and conserve, like farmers do every day. It's within their best interest to take care of stuff, right? But then you have this Trojan horse that wants to come in and change everything. And I think you're right. There is no counterbalance, and hopefully we have one soon, because there needs to be something to stop this. I think we're doing, we've done a good job of letting folks know about it. Now we have to let folks learn how to stop it. That's the one big thing that I'm worried about. So, man, you are awesome, Rebecca. Thank you very much for being on the show. All the way from Tampa, Florida, Rebecca.